Now we got in this grammar revision exercise, we're going to complete the chart, okay, with the verb work for the active and make for the passive sentences. So we got active tenses here, okay, in the simple and continuous, and we have the passive and the same. So let's try to complete together the verb work. So if it's the present simple tense, we will say he works. Excellent job. Now let's do it together. Now let's go to the second one here. We have she. What should we say? She works? No, we want it in the past this time. So yes, it will be she worked. Excellent. We want today in the future simple tense. So it will be they will work. Perfect. You're doing great, wallahi. Present perfect, we're going to have it as, think. I'm giving you 2 seconds. We have worked. Excellent job. So present perfect, we have or has plus the past participle of the verb, the third conjugation. Excellent job. Now we got the past perfect. I had worked. Yes, I had worked. This time we don't have or has, but we have had. Yes. And the future perfect, it will be they will have worked. That's really nice. Now let's go to the continuous also in the active sentences. Now we have present continuous will be we are working. Very good. How about the past? Was or were? Was. Yes, I was working. Okay. You in what? This is you in the future. Yes, you in the future. You will be working. She in the present perfect continuous. She has been working. Yes. We always have, like after verb to be in whether present, past, future, if we have verb to be and another verb, the second verb will take ing, the verb after verb to be. Now let's have past perfect. It will be you had been working. Very good. Excellent. Take a second to look at them and make sure that they are easy for you. So if we take a second together, take a breath, yes, drink some water, relax. We still have a very long journey together. So we got in the present, he works. In the past simple, she worked. Future simple, see, it's an active future simple. They will work. Present perfect simple, we have worked. Past perfect simple, I had worked. Future perfect, they will have worked. If we look at the continuous tenses, we're going to have the present continuous in the active sentences. We are working. Past continuous, I was working. You will be working in the future continuous. She has been working in the present perfect continuous. And then past perfect continuous, we will have you had been working. And then he will have been working. Yeah, I know that's quite a lot, but it's a small revision. So let's go to the second table here, the second chart. This time we have the passive sentences also in the present, past, future, and to the continuous. Now let's do it together, step by step. So in the present passive, in the present sample, in the passive, we will have the sentence or the verb make. It will be they are made. Very good. Now let's go to past with it. Was made. Yes. I'm gonna try to be a little bit slow here to give you a moment to perceive what we are doing. Now let's go to the future sample. They will be made. Yes. Very good. Very good. You're doing great. Excellent. Now let's go to the present perfect sample in the passive with make. So they, I will let you think. Yes, they have been made. Very good. Now let's go to it in the future perfect. In the past perfect, sorry, in the past perfect, it in the past perfect, in the passive, it had been made. Now let's go to the future perfect. They will have been made. It's already solved. Very good. Now let's go to the continuous. We have the present continuous. It is being made. Yes, because there was originally ing. So we're going to, instead of saying it is you know, like when we said we are working, and if we want to use a verb like make in the present continuous, and then we're going to turn it into passive, so we're going to remove the verb to be, like am or is or are, but we're going to have be and add ing to it. Very good. And the last one we have here, in the past continuous, it was being made. Oh my God, we just finished this big chart. Give it up to yourself. Yay, excellent. Now take a look at the screen here. Make sure you take notes. Make more examples using each tense, whether in active or passive sentences. And after you do this, move to the second exercise, the following exercise. I'm gonna clear the drawing. I'm gonna clear the page now, the answers. Here we go. If you need them, go a little bit backward in the video. Now let's listen to this audio, and I want you to try to guess what the context might be, all right? And if you could guess the tenses as well. So we're going to try to listen 1 or 2 times to guess what the context of the conversation and what are the tenses of each conversation. So let's try to listen together. Get ready, get your pen and paper, notepad. All right, and here we go, track 1.4.
Tape script 1.4. 1.
Are you being served, sir?
Oh, just looking, thank you.
2.
I've heard that she's been seeing a lot of Patrick recently.
3.
I'll be seeing Bill this afternoon. I'll tell him the good news then.
4.
Apparently, he was overtaking on a bend at 70 miles per hour when they stopped him.
5.
I hadn't seen her since she was a little girl, and she'd changed beyond all recognition.
6.
Nobody will listen to him. He's the kind of guy who isn't believed by anyone.
7.
I haven't been told yet if I've got it. I'll be told in writing sometime next week.
8.
He's been working such long hours recently. He never sees the children.
Now I'm going to give you a hint for each possible context for each conversation. It could be more than one thing, but we're guessing together. So we got the first one already solved, like a shop assistant talking to a customer, right? Okay. Now let's go to the second one. It could be friends talking at work, gossiping at work, when they are out together, talking about someone else. And number 3, 2 or friends or colleagues talking. Maybe one is saying that she's gonna pass some good news. And number 4, yeah, it's a friend telling a story about another friend. Could be something like this. And and he could be like referring to a criminal or a drunken driver. So, and they could be referring to the police. Number 5. Yeah, it was a bit nostalgic, you know, someone telling or recalling the story of when she met somebody from her past. So her could be like maybe a former neighbor's daughter or something, or a relative that she's not keeping in touch with. And number 6, yeah, could be a person describing a man they know, possibly a schoolmate, colleague, neighbor, maybe. And you know, like he has some information that is not clear. The speaker is given like the impression that people don't trust that man. And number 7 could be somebody saying that they are waiting to be told whether they are going to get the job or a place at college or university, maybe. And the last one, number 8, a wife talking about her husband, or mother-in-law about her son-in-law, could be. All right. So if I said, for example, in these sentences, we have I've heard, or I have heard. When you listen to the audio again, you will find that I have heard. Which tense is this? Present perfect. Yes, that's very good. If I said she's been seeing, she has been seeing. Present perfect continuous. Excellent. If you listen to number 3 again, you will find I will be seeing, I'll be seeing. Future continuous, yes. And I'll tell, I will tell. Future simple. Nice. And number 4, was overtaken. If you listen to the sentence again, you will find was overtaken, past continuous, and we have stopped, past simple. Now we have in number 5 a sentence like she'd changed, she had changed, she changed, past perfect. And if you hear was, then this is past simple. Very good. Number 6, if you heard the words will listen, future simple, yes. And if we heard he isn't believed, for example. So this is, yes, this is present simple, but isn't believed, he isn't believed. Is this active or passive? Yes, very good. This is passive, because if I want to make it an active sentence, I would say people do not believe him. So he is not believed. So people don't believe him. This is the active, but he isn't believed. This is passive. Excellent job. Now in number 7, we have a sentence like having been told. Having been told, this is also present perfect. Very good. But is this active or passive? Passive. Yes, excellent. And if I said, I will be told, which tense is this? Future. That's very good. And it's a future simple, correct. But I will be told, it means that someone will tell me something. So this is a passive sentence. Now, the last sentence, number 8, you will find he's been working. He's been working. This is present perfect continuous. And if we said like he sees, for example, then this is present simple. That's very nice. I want you to listen to it again and compare it to the possible answers that I just shared with you, and try to find your own way of phrasing or understanding the sentences. Now let's look at this exercise together here. And we got some sentences that they look like one another, but they are in different tenses. Now let's read each one of them and, you know, compare together the possible meaning of each pair. So we got Klaus comes from Berlin, okay, and we have Klaus is coming from Berlin. So here Klaus comes from Berlin is present simple tense, okay, and this is like a fact. Very good. But if I said he's coming from Berlin, so this is to talk about something that is happening right now or around now, or maybe a possible future arrangement. So this is present continuous. Excellent job. Now let's go to number 2. We have these 2 sentences. What were you doing when the accident happened? And what did you do when the accident happened? Now, let's think about each one of them. So the first one here, this is past continuous to talk about an action that is in progress in the past. So it was happening while the accident was happening at the same time. But in the second sentence, this is the past simple tense to talk about the next action that happened as a result of the accident. Very good. So the first one is past continuous and the second one is past simple. Now let's go to number 3 and read it together. I have lived in Singapore for 5 years. I lived in Singapore for 5 years. Very good. So what tense is this? Present perfect. Very good. And what tense is this? The past simple. So what is the possible difference here? So it could be in the first one, present perfect, to talk about an unfinished business, you know, like something that began in the past but is still happening until now, like he started living there and he's still living there until now. But in the second sentence, in the past simple tense, it talks about a completed action in the past. So maybe now we don't know where he lives. You know, like if you said, I lived in Singapore for 5 years, so the next question could be, and where do you live now? Okay, let's check these 2 sentences. I'll give you a second to read it. Okay, so what tense is the first one here? Think. Past simple, very good. And how about the second one here? So the first one was past simple. How about this one? Past perfect. Yes, excellent. So the first one, it means when we arrived, he tidied the flat. So it means that there was a sequence of things that happened. So you're saying which action happened first. But in the second one, to say what also is a sequence, right? So what's really the difference here? So which action happened first? So in the first one, you will find that to say like the consequence of the first action arrived. So when we arrived, he tidied the flat. So he tidied the flat. This is a consequence of us arriving, okay? Now the second one, to say what happened before the action arrived. So you can say, when we arrived, he tidied the flat. So we came and we found that he already tidied the flat. So you can say that here in the first sentence. I know it's a little bit confusing sometimes and it gets a headache. So if you want to go and get a cup of tea or something, because there is a lot of grammar in this unit. So we say, when we arrived, he tidied the flat. So here, we came first, we arrived first, okay? And then he tidied the flat. But here, when we arrived, he tidied the flat. So we arrived first, or we tidied first. We tidied first, and then he tidied first, and then we arrived. So let's say it one more time. When we arrived, he tidied the flat. Okay, so we arrived first and then he did the tidying. And here, when we arrived, he tidied the flat. It means he did the tidying first and then we arrived. Very good. Now let's go to number 5. We'll have dinner at 8. Shall we? Don't call at 8. We'll be having dinner. So in the first one here, we'll have dinner at 8. So this is the future simple tense and it's like a spontaneous decision. It could be a suggestion as well. And in the second one, this is future continuous. Very good. So we'll be having dinner. So this is like to talk about a temporary action or something that will be in progress at a certain time in the future. So when you call, we will be having dinner. So don't call. We're hungry. We want to eat. So that is number 5. Now let's go to number 6. I didn't teach English very well. That's a very bad sentence for me. And I wasn't taught English very well. So what's the difference here? I didn't teach English very well, or I wasn't taught English very well. Now let's think of it together. So the first one, I didn't teach English very well. This is past simple. Very good. And is it active or passive? Active, yes. In comparison of the second sentence, I wasn't taught English very well. It's past simple, but passive. Very good. So both of them are past simple, but the first one is active and the second one is passive. That's really nice. In the first one, it's me, I'm the teacher, right? And in the second one, I'm the student, yes. So I think I'm gonna go with the second one here, because the first one would be really offensive. I wouldn't say this about myself, so or also about my teacher. So let's say that these are just example sentences. Let's not use them ever to talk about ourselves or others. Now let's go to number 7. How much are you paying to have the house painted? And the second one here, how much are you being paid to paint the house? Lots of pa, you know. So how much are you being paid to paint the house? So the first one is present continuous and it's active. Very good. And the second one, it's also present continuous, but it's passive. So the first one, you're talking about a temporary activity happening around now. And you here could be the owner. You are the owner, the house owner. And in the second one, you could be the decorator because it's passive. That's very good. Now let's go to the last one. You're very kind, thank you. And you're being very kind. What do you want? Okay, so here, the first one, it's a present simple to talk about a fact. I'm describing you that you're very kind, okay? So this is like showing a personal characteristic. But in the second one, you're being very kind. So this is present continuous, talking about something that is happening right now. So maybe this is not the usual thing, it's temporarily. So probably this person wants something from us. So if, for example, you found that your brother or sister being too sweet, you know, not more than or more than the usual, so you tell them, you're being very kind. What do you want? Because usually you are mean to me. Usually you treat me badly. So in the second one here, it's passive and to show that this is a temporary situation, not the usual characteristic of the person. Whew, that was quite challenging, right? I know. I mean, you deserve to pause the video and go and get yourself a break because I know that this was quite a lot. And when you come back, try to take a moment to perceive what we were talking about, to feel better about it, to feel that nothing is confusing. Try to solve more exercises from the workbook so that you can make sure that it's easy for you. Now take a breath and then let's come back for the coming exercise. I hope you enjoyed your break and let's go to another exercise, which is let's first go to these sentences and try to make your own sentences. For example, at weekends, I often sleep. I mean, for me, I often sleep. Number 2, my parents have never, maybe you can say my parents have never traveled abroad, maybe. I don't think I'll ever, okay. Maybe I don't think I'll ever travel to Europe, or I don't think I'll ever go diving. I was saying to a friend just the other day that I need to go to sleep. Number 5, I hate Mondays because I have a lot of work, maybe. Well, we're just thinking of different sentences. So I want you to look at these sentences here and try to make your own sentences. Did you finish? All right, now let's listen to the lines in conversations and compare your ideas. What were the responses that you heard? Now let's listen to it together. Get ready. 3, 2, 1, and action.
Tape script 1.5. 1.
At weekends, I often don't bother getting up till lunchtime.
Me neither. Why bother if you don't have to?
2.
My parents have never had a crossword in all their married lives.
Really? Mine are at it all the time.
3.
Ugh, I don't think I'll ever master this remote control.
Well, don't ask me. I can't even find the on-off button.
4.
I was saying to a friend just the other day that I hadn't seen you for ages.
I know. How long has it been?
5.
I hate Mondays because nothing ever goes right on a Monday.
Just Mondays, eh? Huh. Aren't you the lucky one?
6.
I'd just arrived home last night when I realised I'd left my briefcase on the bus.
Well, you won't see that again.
7.
I was just getting ready to go out this morning when my grandmother rang for a chat. It's so frustrating.
I know, and you feel really bad if you say it's not a good time.
8.
I've been told that our teacher wears purple pyjamas in bed. Who on earth told you that?
9.
In my very first English lesson, I was taught to introduce myself and say hello.
I was taught to say the cat runs after the mouse and stuff like that. Useful, huh?
10.
The reason I'm learning English is because it's spoken all over the world.
True, but isn't Chinese spoken by more people?
All right, you can listen to this more than one time and you will find some interesting expressions like me neither, really, well, don't ask me, or who on earth told you this? So you will find that also the script of the audios, you will find them at the back of the book if you needed to go back to them after listening to them without the script. Now let's go to a small exercise here. Here we go. So we're going to listen and we're going to try to find out which words are missing in these lines from the conversations. Can you see it here? Let me put a square around it to make sure that we are doing together the right exercise. Okay, here it is. So we're going to listen and then we're going to solve it together. Ready, steady, go.
Tape script 1.6.
Jane and...
I always thought they got on really well.
Apparently not. John's been seeing his ex-girlfriend.
2.
Leaving already? What's wrong?
I just have a headache, that's all.
3.
Failed again. How many times is that?
Okay. There's no need to rub it in. They say the best drivers fail 3 times.
4.
Sorry I'm late. Been waiting long?
No, I've just arrived myself. Got caught in traffic.
5.
Doing anything interesting this weekend?
Yeah, if you call housework interesting. I've just got to tidy my flat this weekend.
6.
Like the car. When did you get it?
We've had it a while, actually. Second hand, you know.
7.
Bye, Joe. See you later.
Yeah, I'll be round about 8.
8.
Just coming. Hang on.
Get a move on or we'll go without you.
9.
Want a lift? Hop in.
Great. Can you drop me in the centre?
10.
Seen Jim lately?
No, I haven't. I wonder what he's up to these days.
All right, so do you feel that these questions are missing any words? while it's used in spoken language. So you will find that sometimes they skip some words. For example, in the first one, heard about Jane and John. So instead of using have you heard about Jane and John? Thought not. So here they skipped have you, and they started talking already. This is like informal speaking. You know, like you remember in the beginning when we had Tyler talking in tweets and he was writing and there were informal words. It's the same idea in spoken language. You might find that this is a bit informal. So in the second one, leaving already. So what should we add here if we want to make it a complete question, like if we're going to write it? Are you leaving already? Very good. Number 3, let's check it together. Failed again. Okay, so it could be have you failed again? Very good. No, it's not going to be did you failed again because we have failed. So if we want to use did you, it's going to be did you fail again? But since we have failed, so it's going to be present perfect. Very good. Number 4, sorry I'm late. So it could be I'm sorry I'm late. Very good. And been waiting long? Have you been waiting long? Excellent. So which tense is this? Can you remember? Okay, so if you don't remember, you gotta go a little bit to the previous part and check the tenses again. Number 5, are you doing anything interesting? Yes, so we can skip are you and it will be doing anything interesting. Yes, very good. Now let's go to number 6, like the car. So it could be I like the car. When did you get it? Number 7, yeah, we could say goodbye, Joe. I'll see you later. Yes, very good. And number 8, I'm just coming. Hang on. Very good. And number 9, do you want a lift? Hop in. Yes, do you want a lift? And the last one we have you seen Jem lately? Have you seen Jem lately? Excellent job. That was really good. And we finished another page. Now I want you to take many short breaks as much as you can and go drink some water, make yourself a cup of, I don't know, hot chocolate or something, and then come back to move to another page.